Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
All right, we've got audio. And we've also got that going. All right, I didn't put my microphone on. Just that last minute I noticed it. You're going to hear a few rustling here. Get this back on. Okay, there we go. Microphone is on. Happy Friday to you all. It's Friday. And today is my last day in Baja, Mexico. It has been full 2 weeks. A nice little vacation here with my family here, and this is kind of my home away from home, and this is going to be kind of the end, the last one, the last coffee with Krueger, and then we are heading back late tonight, early tomorrow morning. We like to move and kind of drive through Southern California, San Diego, LA, without any traffic. So if we can do that in the late night, early morning hours when there's not as many people on the road, we can kind of really just push through, and then we don't have as much traffic north of that. So kind of looking forward to that part of the drive. And hopefully, my son Aiden, he's got his driver's permit. We can get him a few hours of driving in there as well. So that is, of course, where I am and why you're probably wondering, what's this weird background behind him? That's because I've been in Baja, Mexico for the last 2 weeks. Today is my last full day of being here. Well, what a day out there yesterday. Let's get you right to it. I want to show you the radar here from the last 24 hours. And really, I think Futurecast did a pretty good job. Number one, most of the activity started around midday, right? And then it really started to flare up here in the few hours after that. And most of it started off in in Lassen and Plumas counties, making its way into Modoc County and eventually Siskiyou County, and even parts of Trinity County. Got to see some thunderstorm activity as well. And the big story, of course, the big headline was just to the west of Redding, quite the light show that many of you in the Redding area got to see, producing a lot of lightning strikes, an amazing lightning show. There were a lot of lightning strikes out there, but we're still seeing a few showers out there and some lightning strikes this morning. Look at this, just to the north of Garberville, kind of approaching Highway 101, moving to the south and west. In fact, really approaching the Garberville area, you've got some rain. You actually got some thunderstorms. So Garberville, give it another half hour, 45 minutes, and you've got some rain and maybe even some lightning strikes, should this hold on to its current strength. And I want to show you something here because we did see, unfortunately, some lightning-sparked fires yesterday. But before we get to that, I want to show you this too. This is going to show you where we this is looking kind of toward Redding. And you can see as those clouds move in overhead, it gets really ominous dark skies. Now, this camera, at least in the time lapse, didn't catch any of the lightning strikes, at least none that I could see here. But look at that, just a big, heavy downpour. Look at that big rain shaft. So again, this is to the west of Redding, looking toward the city of Redding when the storms were kind of to the west of Redding. And you can see that heavy downpour, then overnight, it started to kind of clear out, at least dry out, and we didn't see as much there. Now, with all of the lightning strikes that we did see, unfortunately, there were some new lightning-sparked fires. All right, so as you can see here, the E1 fire in Lassen County. This actually is, let's see, is this the one that was? No. So we don't have any confirmation of this thing being contained or forward progress being stopped, but there's the 1-1 fire in, the E1 fire. I thought we were looking at the 1-1 fire. Let's take a look at the 1-1 fire here. This is in Lassen County. This is 100% contained, but the E1 fire, which is just north of Highway 44 and east of Spalding, you can see there is no containment. That is at least being confirmed there. In the meantime, we take you up to the north into Modoc County, where you've got the Ward fire. Now, this one is 20% contained at a quarter of an acre. Again, a lightning-sparked fire. This is a new fire from yesterday when we saw the lightning strikes. Now we take you into Siskiyou County, and we've got the Moffett fire right here. This one is 2 acres. No sign of any containment at this point. We've also got to the west of that, the east fire at 3% contained, excuse me, not 3%, 3 acres, but the forward progress has been stopped according to Incident Command here. So there you can see some of the lightning spark fires in Siskiyou County. Let's take you to the south where you've got the Sylvan fire. This is south of Reading. Incident is now being deactivated, but basically, let's see if there's any forward progress being stopped or anything like that. And we don't have that. We don't have any containment numbers. Resources, and it's also saying the fire is holding at approximately 1/4 acre per Incident Command, continuing 2 water tenders. Of course, this was last night, canceling the remainder of the response. You've also got the Lost Fire to the south and west of that. Forward progress has been stopped on this one at 2 acres. So, the thing is, all those lightning strikes we saw, that beautiful lightning show, well, that did spark a few fires, unfortunately. And it looks like that's about it as far as any new fires that we know of. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the Siskiyou fire. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fires. 9 new fires that we know of. Actually, another one, deer fire. So we got the deer. So hold on, let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Approximately 10 fires or so. So yeah, a lot of fires in Siskiyou County, Modoc, northeastern Shasta County. The 1-2 fire, the E1 fire, and the 1-1 fire. Then, of course, the Lost Fire southwest of Reading. So yeah, this is not good. This is not what we want to see, right? And the thing is, we've got more lightning strikes in the forecast here as we do go through time. But before we get to that, I want to thank, let's see here. Let's see if we can get that going. Is it going to go? Is it going to go? Is it going to go? No, it's not going to go. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and do this. This was sent to me by Chris Robertson. This is the beautiful sunset that we got to see here. I wish he had also caught maybe some of those lightning strikes, but this is gorgeous nonetheless. And I want to thank Chris for sharing his photo of the day, and this is the beautiful sunset that we got to see from all those clouds. If you want to share your photo, it's very easy to do that from the free Weather NorCal app. You've already got the photos on your phone. Use the free Weather NorCal app to share those photos. All right, that's a look at kind of what was going on last night, yesterday, the lightning strikes and the lightning spark fires. Let's get to Krueger's Quickcast for those of you that just want to know what to expect here for today. So we got another round of thunderstorms today with elevated fire risk continuing due to the dry lightning. Highs will still be below normal through the weekend with warmer but still below 100 temperatures through next week. Right now, we're in the mid to upper 60s in the valley, 40s and mainly 50s for the higher elevations and for the coast. Out the door this morning, there may be a sprinkle or a light shower for parts of the valley and even parts of, say, Garberville. You're seeing some of that shower activity approaching you. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies for the coast and a dry start to the day for most of us. The winds, fairly calm at the current hour, but they will pick up. And you see those winds off to the east, those yellows and oranges, those are the gusty winds associated with the thunderstorms that will develop this afternoon. But you can see generally those winds coming from the south, a little breezy for the valley this afternoon. Taking you into your Saturday morning, the winds calm down, but most likely picking back up again in the afternoon. And there's a look at the satellite radar from the last 12 hours. You can clearly see the thunderstorms that popped up yesterday afternoon, but then still some clouds left over from yesterday's activity, and we'll see more clouds, more rain, more thunderstorms as we go through this afternoon. Red flag warning for the areas in red. Keep in mind, though, even though the eastern mountains are not part of this, honestly, they should be included in this because we are going to be looking at more lightning spark fires in that area as well, more lightning strikes, more severe thunderstorm warnings. So let's take a look at the HRRR forecast model here in our Krueger's Quickcast here. We're going to go into the deeper dive here after this. But what we're seeing here is that we're going to see the thunderstorms begin to pop up again around midday. And I think more so working its way into Trinity County than we saw yesterday. But you can see in the eastern mountains, Siskiyou, Modoc County, seeing this activity mid-afternoon. Late afternoon, it's beginning to really focus its attention more to the north and east of the valley, not as much activity to the west of the valley. However, this is around the time that we could see some activity working its way into the valley this evening and into tonight. But by 10 o'clock tonight, you can see most of the activity really starts to die out, and we dry things out most likely around midnight or shortly after midnight. So there's the best chances for thunderstorms today, mainly surrounding the valley for all of the higher elevations. But as I mentioned, later this evening into tonight, we could see more thunderstorms. Now, this doesn't mean, Redding, that you're going to see the same light show that you did last night, but that also doesn't mean you won't. See, the thing is, these things can develop very randomly, very sporadically, and that can make things a little challenging for, depicting exactly where that activity is going to be. But this type of activity is hard to know exactly where it's going to be, but that's why we've got that chance for thunderstorms, especially in the higher elevations. Now, for tonight, another mild night, temperatures dropping down to around 60 in the valley and mainly in the 50s for the higher elevations and for the coast. So no big surprises there. So there's that chance later this afternoon and evening for everyone in the valley. Otherwise, we're dry and we're getting warmer for next week. But notice no triple digits, and these are temperatures that are also below normal for this time of the year. So yes, it will be warmer, but at least it's still below 100 degrees. Low 60s for the coast. Now, I included a chance inland. We're seeing some of that this morning, especially down towards southern Humboldt County. But once that passes, I think the chances are going to be slimmer through the afternoon. But eastern Humboldt, eastern Del Norte, may be a chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm. There's Trinity County. Now, Trinity County, I've taken you out for Saturday, but maybe off and on chances for Sunday, Monday, and into Wednesday, Thursday of next week. And really, most cases in the mountains, north and east of the valley, chance for thunderstorms each and every single day. However, I will say this, the main event, yesterday and today, that's the main event. By this weekend, by next week, it's just going to be few and far between, scattered, isolated activity here, maybe even a few thunderstorms. All right, here's your fire weather update. Sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. So this is the latest data coming in. What we're looking at right now is the latest heat signatures coming in from the satellites. Kind of hard to see. And in fact, we're going to start off with the green fire. Now, the green fire, as of yesterday, 5:02 p.m., still at 19,022 acres, 68% containment. So we haven't seen any growth from that fire. There hasn't been any recent activity. Now, where we're seeing some recent activity is at the south end of the Butler fire. And this is a report coming in as of yesterday night, last night that is. And you can see it's about 10:18 p.m., 18,855 acres at 10% containment. So you can see the red dot, mainly on that thin line of that fire perimeter. That is a fire operation from the firefighters. So that is their effort to prevent the fire from spreading any more to the south. And we are seeing, and there has been some activity between the main fire and that fire operation. If you look closely too, we are seeing a little bit of activity here. The orange dots indicating at least the last 24 hours that we've seen that activity for the part of the fire. But on the west side, actually incident command saying, hey, listen, they're feeling pretty confident and really no threats at this point for the Orleans area. So that certainly is good news. And that hasn't changed as far as the distance from the perimeter at 4.8 miles. And this hasn't changed either for Soames Bar. In fact, this is the part of the fire that is contained. So most likely not getting any closer to Soames Bar at 4.4 miles. The red fire, latest report was as of July 22nd, 10:13 in the morning at 116 acres, 80% containment there. So nothing new to report with that fire. Nothing really new to report with the Summit fire as the latest report is coming in from July 21st. Last report was at 701 acres at 90% containment. All right, let's take a look at that smoke forecast here. And again, it's the Butler fire that's producing the bulk of the smoke. Now, it looks like with the new fire north of Wairika, we could see some new smoke kind of develop from there. But the Butler fire may bring some smoke tonight towards northern Trinity County, as we've seen over the last several days. But again, with the rain and kind of moving into that area, that may help to kind of reduce some of that smoke. That being said, as we go into your Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, it pushes back to the east again, northern Trinity County, as we go into Saturday night. And I think we'll kind of repeat that going into Sunday as well. By the way, as you know, conditions can change rapidly. The fire weather information changes rapidly throughout the day. I do detailed outlooks and looks at the fire, or look at the fires, that is, in my morning update at 6 a.m. and right here on Coffee with Krueger. But I don't do as much for the noon and even the evening update unless something major has happened. So if between when I give you this report and the evening you want to know what's going on with the fires, is very easy. WeatherNorCal.com, click on the fire danger section. All right, so there's a look at the winds this morning. They are fairly calm. You can see the gusty winds associated with the thunderstorms in the eastern mountains, and a little breezy for the valley with those south winds, but not necessarily associated with thunderstorms. You see, kind of repeat that for your Saturday, and how about that again on Sunday? Now, the thunderstorm activity won't be nearly as active for the weekend, but the fire weather risk due to the lower temperatures and the higher humidity is not as high in the low to high range. But this is not taking into account the lightning strikes that we are going to see, especially for today. And there's a look at some of the latest cameras coming in from Lake Oroville. So that is a look at Krueger's Quickcast and the latest look at the fires and the fire weather information. Now let's take a look at some of the cameras in the area. And this is a beautiful shot of Lake Oroville. And this is what I was talking about. With the thunderstorms we saw yesterday, we're seeing a lot of leftover clouds, making for kind of a gorgeous start to the day. There you can see Main Street Chico on Highway 32. We are seeing some little bit of traffic backed up there at a red light, but otherwise pretty normal with Highway 99 at Neal Road. Looks like things are looking pretty good there as well. How about the Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive? Kind of get that glare of the sun here. Can't really see what's going on with the sky conditions there, but still some clouds. And we can also see out towards Crescent City Harbor District. We are seeing, looks like it froze up on me again, but it was kind of a little overcast out there this morning, and we're seeing some of that fog there as well. All right, let's go and take a look at some of the other cameras across the region. Looking down at Hoopa Valley there, beautiful, beautiful shot. You can still see, then look at this. Remember earlier at the very top of the show, I showed you those thunderstorms that are near Garberville. Well, you can see some of those thunderstorm heads kind of off in the distance there. That is the thunderstorm activity we are seeing in southern Humboldt County right now. Kind of interesting seeing that. Wow, look at that. Nice little break in the clouds. You can see some of the crags there. This is looking at Soda Ridge. Beautiful. Still looking at some of the ominous looking clouds there this morning. Look at this out in Fort Jones. You are starting the morning off with some morning fog. And that's because, of course, we did see those thunderstorms, and you got that moisture left over in the lower levels, really at the surface. And when you clear things out overnight, you got that moisture at the surface. It's very easy for you to reach that dew point temperature, and as a result, you begin to see that fog. All right, that is a look at that part of the forecast. Let's go ahead and see if there are any comments coming in this morning here. And no, we don't. We don't have any new comments this morning. Just a lot of people kind of checking in and see what's going on here this morning. Well, as you know, we've got sponsors here at Weather NorCal, and Coffee with Krueger has been sponsored predominantly by Wind River Resort and Casino since day one. Want to thank them for their support. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Well, right now, as we go into our deeper dive forecast, we're talking temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for the valley, mainly 50s, though Altura is sitting at about 47 degrees in the higher elevations. We did see those thunderstorms pop up yesterday. You can clearly see them popping up here through the afternoon on the satellite image. Now, if you look closely, south of Sacramento, you can see a bit of a counterclockwise spin. Well, that is the area of low pressure helping to produce some of that instability, helping to also tap into some of that monsoon moisture, giving us that moisture source for the thunderstorms. Now, there is still a red flag warning for the areas in red. Does not include the eastern mountains, but quite honestly, it should, because we are going to be looking at thunderstorms there, and there is the potential for dry lightning strikes, as you can see here in eastern Plumas, Lassen, and Modoc counties. Although, to be honest, anywhere we're seeing those thunderstorms, there is the potential for dry lightning. We're taking you to tomorrow, could see another chance for some thunderstorms, but as I mentioned, I don't expect the thunderstorm activity tomorrow to be as widespread or as severe. So let's walk you through the timing of all that. And there you can see by midday, we're seeing the thunderstorms just beginning to pop up, especially in Siskiyou, Lassen, and Plumas counties. Then by mid-afternoon, we're seeing the thunderstorms popping up, and that does include Trinity County and Siskiyou County and Modoc, Lassen, Plumas, also the mountains just east of the valley too. But notice Del Norte, Humboldt counties. You're not even seeing any out towards Hoopa or even Willow Creek. Now, some of those could stray that far to the west. Sometimes the forecast model doesn't necessarily depict exactly what's going to happen. In fact, it never does. So it kind of gives you an idea. But later this evening, it looks like we're starting to see the activity kind of break away from Trinity County, and it's mainly to the north and east of the valley. Now, Futurecast doesn't really want to show a whole lot of activity for the valley, but I still think that as we go into the late afternoon, early evening hours, closer to sunset too, we can see more thunderstorms for some of us in the valley. Now, that doesn't mean Redding, you're going to see another beautiful lightning show that you did last night, but you could see more thunderstorm activity here later this evening. You can kind of see that by 10 o'clock tonight, how some activity comes in from the north, and that could bring a stray shower or even a thunderstorm later this evening into tonight. And then even midnight, look at that, around Chico, Paradise, maybe a chance for an isolated thunderstorm. And then after midnight, it looks like it's all pretty much over with. Now, Saturday morning, we're starting off dry. Saturday afternoon, well, there you go. Now, most of the activity looks to be focused to the east of the valley. We still can't rule out maybe a pop-up shower or thunderstorm everywhere else in the mountains, but most of the activity looks to be to the east. And then Saturday night, looks like we're done with at that point. Then we go into Sunday. We're going to see another round. We could see another round of scattered showers and possible thunderstorms as we go through Sunday afternoon. Now, you'll notice it's not widespread. The storms don't look to be quite as strong, but we could see showers, maybe some lightning strikes for all of the mountains, but obviously not in the valley. All right, here's your longer range, and depends on which forecast model you look at, but bottom line, as we go through next week, Monday, really even through Friday, some of the long-range forecast models are indicating that each and every single day there may be a chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm in the mountains. And it's beginning to look like Wednesday, Thursday may see a little bit better chances of next week. So these are things to watch for and just be aware of. If you live in the mountains, do note that once it is over this weekend, we've still got the potential for more activity going through next week. Temperature-wise, we're kind of getting out of that cooler than normal range and getting closer to near average. So it is getting warmer for next week, but we are going to be below normal and we are going to be below 100 degrees. That mild air, the reason why it's getting warmer is that mild air that's really been in place this week is starting to shift back off to the north and west and move out. And what that's going to do is allow that heat over to the east of us to build in. But here's the thing. You see that cooler pocket of air or that trough of low pressure over the Gulf of Alaska? That's staying put. It's really not going anywhere. And what that's doing is preventing that heat off to our east from really expanding directly over us. So as a result, yes, it is going to be warmer, but it's not going to be as hot as we typically are this time of the year. And there you can see low 90s for Redding through Saturday, temperatures mid to upper 90s. For Sunday through all of next week and even into that next weekend. Chico, you'll probably closer to the mid 90s for your daytime highs. So you can see the below normal temperatures we've seen most of this month. For the month of July, we have been below normal for this time of the year. Can you believe it? Even 100 degrees. Even 100 degrees is below normal for Redding at least. So you would think you'd have like a red box on that one because it's so hot, but no. And it wasn't a record on July 11th. It was just above average. And it was around average on July 19th. But all this week, it's been below normal. And it will be the rest of this week, this weekend, and most likely even through next week. Take a look at the latest lake levels. We are seeing those capacity drop, that is, slowly. But where we should be this time of the year, we're still doing well. Lakes are still very healthy. Taking a look at the wave heights, look at the clock, it is moving, just to kind of prove to you that it is, because we're not seeing really any change for those wave heights. So as a result, no small craft advisories, patchy dense fog, especially in the morning hours, winds from the northwest at about 5 to 10 knots. So here is your detailed Trinity County neighborhood forecast. So really look at that 7-day forecast, you see a chance here and there. That's essentially going to be the pattern. And I've mentioned this earlier. The main event of these thunderstorms was yesterday and will be again today. That's the main event, 2 days of this. Then it just kind of turns over to the scattered showers here and there for the higher elevations. For the inland areas, we're seeing it this morning out towards Garberville, some of that shower activity, even a few thunderstorms. But by the afternoon, the chances are pretty slim. Ferndale, Fortuna, Hydesville, Rio Dell, basically in the low 60s under mostly cloudy skies. Willow Creek, about 90, 80 degrees for Hoopa. I've got the chance in there for Hoopa and Willow Creek, but don't count on it. Don't count on much. Again, I meant to change that. I've got to remind myself. I'm going to do it right now. You're going to hear me say it. Remind me Orleans at, what time is it now? 7:30 this morning. Okay, I got the reminder in there. I'm going to remind myself. I've got to adjust the settings on that Orleans. It's showing thunderstorms, and yes, it's a slight chance, but not to the point where I really want to commit to it 100% and put the lightning strikes in there, because most likely you won't. So just note that, and then gas key about 73. All right, Siskiyou County. Temperatures should be still in the mid-90s, low to mid-90s for Highway 96 corridor. I-5 corridor, upper 80s, about 90. Thunderstorms today again. Some of them could be severe, which means heavy rain, gusty winds, hail, right, the works, frequent lightning. And then off and on chances for showers, thunderstorms through the weekend and a good portion of next week as well. For Scott Valley, you've got thunderstorms in the forecast today with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Low to mid 80s, that is, for central eastern Siskiyou County. Thunderstorms today, chances over the weekend, and chances as we go into parts of next week as well. For Modoc County, off and on chances for all of next week. I think you've got some decent chances for thunderstorms, of course, today, and a very good chance for thunderstorms over the weekend, too. And that's the case even for the eastern mountains. Bernie, for example, I think you've got the chance for thunderstorms through Sunday, and then those chances do diminish for early next week, and maybe another round coming in next Wednesday and Thursday. That's the case for Lake Almanor and for Lassen Park as well. Looking at those thunderstorms for today. Paradise, a high of 80, most likely mainly dry. You could see a stray thunderstorm later this afternoon and evening. Otherwise dry for the first half of the day in Paradise. For the Valley neighborhood forecast to the south, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s for your daytime highs. Could see a slight chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm this evening. Otherwise, it's dry through most of the day today. Temperatures are warming up next week, but still below normal, with highs in the low to mid 90s for Chico, 91 degrees for Redding, 90 in Cottonwood, 89 for Lakehead and Whiskeytown. And there you can see your 7-day forecast for Redding. There's, of course, that chance for showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. Dry over the weekend, warming up for next week with highs in the mid to upper 90s for your daytime highs. So yes, temperatures are warming up next week, but still below normal and still below 100 degrees. Not a bad week for the month of July. This week was an even better week with temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 80s and some low 90s in there as well. So not bad at all, not bad at all for this time of the year. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Let's check in with some of you again. Not a whole lot of comments this morning. I think it's just kind of a typical standard Friday. But I mean, again, how about that lightning show last night? I didn't get a chance to see it, but I got to see a lot of great pictures, a lot of great videos on social media. Just absolutely gorgeous. And hopefully everyone was staying safe out there. But we do know that there were those new fires that were sparked by lightning yesterday. About 10 new fires that we know of. Now, keep in mind, there are going to be those sleepers that we don't know about, and they could pop up eventually later this week, later today, maybe, this weekend or next week. And then there could be some new fires sparked from today's lightning activity that we're going to see. So not a good situation. We don't like to see those thunderstorms this time of the year. Like the rain has certainly been a welcome sight. But you saw hail. I know that there's some hail out in the Wairika area yesterday, and hail in many other locations as well. So be prepared for severe thunderstorms. And if a severe thunderstorm works into your region, or works over you, or you get a severe thunderstorm warning for you, do know you're talking about the potential for heavy rainfall, gusty winds, hail about the size of a quarter, possibly, and heavy rainfall. We even saw some flash flood watches yesterday because of the heavy rainfall. We could see that again here for today. So again, a very active day in store for us. Bottom line, if you see a thunderstorm heading your way, you want to seek shelter immediately. It's not a situation you want to be caught in, especially when you're dealing with that hail, gusty winds, and try to get your car to be covered as well, because you don't want the hail damage as well. All right, let's see here. Looks like that's going to about do it. All right, folks, that's going to do it for today and for your Friday. This is my last Coffee with Krueger here in Baja, Mexico. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed some of the photos and videos I've been sharing with you on our family trip here. It has been a lot of fun. We've really enjoyed it, but we are heading back late tonight, early tomorrow morning, back home. It's going to be good to be back home. And we will see you. Of course, you can still watch my updates. And by the way, be sure to download the free Weather NorCal app. I want you to do that. And the reason I say that is because one of the cool things about the severe thunderstorm warnings and really the warnings in general that we get that get pushed to the app is they go to the Weather NorCal app before the National Weather Service even issues them. I've seen them go to my phone. I then go to the National Weather Service website. That warning is not even on the website yet. So if you want to be alerted first with those severe thunderstorm warnings in the works, download my app for free, make sure the notifications are on, and you will be the first of all of your friends and family to get those alerts first, because you're not going to see that on many of the other apps for the local area and of course the national apps as well. So be sure to tell your friends, be sure to tell your family. If they want to get alerted first, they can do that from the free Weather NorCal app. Search for Weather NorCal, space between Weather NorCal, and download the app for free today. Well, again, that's going to do it for us this morning. That's going to do it for my last show of the last 2 weeks from Baja, Mexico. We're going to be back home on Monday. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day, and we will see you throughout the day with my latest updates and Monday morning on Coffee with Krueger. Have a great day.